spotting the giant green grasshopper with blazing red eyes charging forward. Takeda Shingen immediately unleashed a black mist palm strike, shouting loudly, "Forbidden spell garment, diamond shock." But just moments later, Xiaowu cast a disdainful glance, her razor-sharp claw easily tearing apart the attack, and coldly uttered, "This little Kim is barely enough to wedge into the tiger's teeth." Shingen panicked, his face turning pale. "My forbidden spell, has it been swallowed?" Before he could react, everything darkened before his eyes. Xiaowu appeared above him instantly, eyes flashing with cruelty, shouting, "Kill!" The claw swung down with a flash of light. Shingen's hand dropped with a thud, a scream of agony tearing through the air. Xiaowu casually picked it up, gnawing voraciously amid Shingen's pitiful groans. In horror, Shingen clutching his severed arm fled. Meanwhile, Xiaowu sat perched lazily, her finger lightly touching her lips, her gaze indifferent as she remarked, "The flavor is mediocre, unworthy of the tiger, but I'll spare you for now." Takeda Shingen hurriedly fled until he collapsed, panting, then chanted an incantation. Heavenly origin power enters the body, flesh and blood reborn. Instantly, the flesh and bone at his severed arm closed up, regenerating a new hand in the blink of an eye. From afar, Xiaowu's glowing red eyes watched the shimmering golden aura surrounding Shingen, a slight smirk tugging at her lips. The ingredients may be common, but they can still replenish the tiger. Without hesitation, she lunged forward, biting into him, her voice filled with pleasure. The tiger is starting to get interesting. Before Shingen could react, the hand that had just regrown was crushed again in the steel claw. A scream, "Isia," echoed. His body was quickly shredded, flesh and blood splattering amid the crisp gnawing sounds, crunchy and crisp. Xiaowu, mid-feast, suddenly paused, spat out the remaining hand, furrowed her brows. "Huh? It's all gone. What about that divine power? Quickly feed some more to the Lord." But nothing happened, no regeneration whatsoever. Her anger flared instantly, her reddened eyes darted around as she shouted, "How dare you deceive the Lord?" Then frantically rushed to bite and tear at those nearby. The whole crowd panicked and scattered. "The mayor's been eaten. Run quickly." Jiang Shen stood at a distance, arms crossed, quietly thinking that Xiaowu really wasn't very smart, slightly curling his lips in appraisal. Both soul and flesh have been completely consumed. How could there be any regeneration? And on top of that, the way she talks is so vague, no shame at all. Behind them, Yan Yunfeng, Xin Liang, and Qingmai witnessed the scene of raw consumption and felt chills down their spines, sweating profusely as if showered, mouths agape. Their minds in chaos. Who am I? Where am I? Why am I here? Damn it all. Only Saito Ayaka's eyes sparkled as if seeing a deity. So the 9 transformations is just a snack? The handsome ancestor is amazing. I want to marry him immediately. Seeing the obstacles cleared, Jiang Shen glanced at the still stunned crowd and said briefly, "Don't just stand there dumbfounded. It'll be a while after it's done eating. Go check out the main hall first." Ayaka immediately cheered happily and skipped along behind, and only then did Yan Yunfeng snap back to reality. "Oh, all right." The whole group quickly stepped into the great hall, where the gigantic painting appeared before their eyes. Jiang Shen looked closely and said in a deep voice, "This 8-headed serpent is the 8-banner great serpent of Gao Tianyuan, isn't it?" Yan Yunfeng nodded. "Yes, a primordial being with tremendous power. Wherever the heavenly Tao seal opens, it can instantly reach that realm. I've heard that every year, the strongest geniuses of Anhua Nation enter Gao Tianyuan to directly learn from the 8-banner great god." Yan Yunfeng continued, "In the Kunlun of Daha, there is also a primordial being, the Qilin, but unlike the 8-banner great serpent, that one is extremely selfish, occupying a vast spiritual territory without aiding anyone." He paused for a moment and sighed. "Not only does it refuse to support Daha, but it also looks down on humanity. I've heard that long ago, Jiang Wushen went to negotiate with it and was nearly beaten to death." Jiang Shen frowned, speaking coldly. "Truly a beast, thinking it's the master of the world. I'll tame it when I have time. Consider it a way to vent anger on behalf of Wu Xin. Qing Mai then spoke up. Actually, not only on Hoa Nation or Daha, but the divine origin region of the Fa Lao Nation, Sun City, also has a primordial being. Saito Ayaka immediately pressed close to Jiang Shun, her eyes wary as she looked at Qing Mai. Qing Mai calmly continued, "It is the giant golden lion king named Mahez, now revered as the national deity." Then she added, "As for the divine origin region of Northern Europe, Asgard, their primordial being is Fenrir, a giant wolf as large as a mountain range, currently the king of Asgard." Jiang Shin nodded, glanced at her. "Aren't you only responsible for on Hoa Kwok's intelligence? Yet you know details about other countries like this." Xin Liang forced a smile and interjected, "Ah, Sister Qing Mai was formerly the chief of intelligence for the Thursday Danan Dai Ha." Jiang Shun, upon hearing Qing Mai was from intelligence, enthusiastically proposed, "After I flatten on Hoa Kwok, everyone follows me. We'll take the chance to tour those countries as well." Xin Liang and Qing Mai exchanged rolling eyes while Yen Yunfeng awkwardly forced a smile. Meanwhile, Jiang Shun laughed heartily, half joking, half serious. "I'm going to collect debts. If they pay, it's a stroll. If not, well, they're forced into national destruction." The three fell silent, thinking that a single displeased word could mean the obliteration of an entire country, typical of a domineering CEO type. Suddenly, a loud noise from the great hall ceiling made everyone look up. Xiao Wu fell into the middle of the room, arms crossed, munching casually, and commented dispassionately, "The position is decent, not worthy of this royal lady, but these ragtag gods can be flattened." The lights in the hall brightened, and a male voice resounded. "Next, proceed directly to the strongest of the 8 banners divine societies. All society leaders are invited into the main hall to discuss the grand plan." At the center, a stern man sat upright, looked at everyone, and spoke gravely. "With Zich Fian Kung destroyed, next could be us. I propose we set aside internal prejudices and unite to exterminate Tran Hai Vong Dai Ha." A man stepped forward, bowed respectfully, and reported, "Lord Mok Thon, Jiang Shun can kill Vo Dine Tin Huin with a single strike. He is definitely not a 4th shift. Furthermore, he possesses hundreds of millions of QC Chuang, so we are no match for him." He paused briefly, his voice deepening, more terrifyingly. "Besides the QC Chuang, he also commands a swarm of other mysterious insects, powerful enough to eliminate Vo Dine Tin Huin even with divine protection. His strength is truly overwhelming. Even if we were to gather all the 7th and 8th shift warriors of on Hoa Nation, I fear we still could not defeat him." Yachi Yusaku Kimura frowned, speaking solemnly. "There is no need to be so self-deprecating. After all, he only relies on external tools." But many immediately objected. "Lord Mok Thon, we are only 8th shift. If we want to deal with him, I'm afraid we must invite the 8 banner great deities." As soon as the words ended, Kimura angrily stood up and shouted coldly, "Silence! The 8 banner great deities are sealed within Chao Thien Nguyen. How can they be summoned at will? Is it necessary to trouble them over such a minor matter?" Seeing the unrest in the air, he immediately reassured them. "Do not worry, 3 years ago I broke through to the 9th shift. In Dai Hares terms, this means an invincible realm." Finishing his words, he took out a lens that radiated a vibrant golden light. With the divine weapon granted by the 8 banner great deities, the 8-fingered lens, this time Jiang Shun will find no escape. Yachi Yusaku Kimura scanned the surroundings with a solemn tone, saying, "When the nation's fortune grants protection and the divine power of Gao Tian Yuan merges into the body, what is a mere insignificant demonic insect to fear?" The entire hall immediately buzzed with excitement. Anxiety vanished, and everyone was filled with fiery spirit. 9 turns undefeated. The divine weapon 8-fingered mirror. We finally have hope. The scene shifted to the outskirts of the capital, where coughing echoed through the darkness. 2 gaunt men were pulling a cart piled high with corpses. One urged, "Hurry up, we must deliver them all to the factory before dawn, or else we'll end up like them." The younger brother gasped for breath. "I'm almost exhausted." The desolate and chilling scene was eerie. Jiang Shun looked around and asked Saito Ayaka, "Is this the capital? Why is it so tragic?" She quietly replied, "This is the third district, the outermost zone where ordinary people live in what is no better than hell. In Inghua, class distinctions are strictly enforced. Anyone who fails the transition is branded with a slave mark, becoming property to be traded, and are even regarded as meat for the strong to consume. Since the era of the transition began, many nations have followed this model." Jiang Shen said gravely, "So they never rebelled?" Ayaka shook her head. "In the past 800 years, countless resistance forces have risen, but all have failed. Against the power of the 8 great divine societies, even the Saito family could not withstand a single blow." Jiang Shen glanced coldly at the slaves who were bent over working. "I originally planned to raise the 8 great divine clans and Gao Tianyuan, then use the Faith Steel Seal to subdue Anhua, but now it seems it won't be that simple. With the slaves in this state, your initial plan is completely hopeless. The condition to activate the Faith Steel Seal is to destroy their hope and faith in the deities. But here, people still have hope and still believe in things that don't actually exist. So what should be done to break that?" While observing, suddenly a shout came from below. "Baka! Who are you?" The shout immediately drew the guard's attention, and the crowd began to gather more densely. "Since we've been discovered, so be it. If exposure is inevitable, then let it be." Without wasting a move, he raised his hand to summon the swarming dust devils to obey his command and declared, "There is no faith here. I will be the guide, taking the name of heavenly calamity to recreate this nation, overthrow heaven and earth as a new god descends."